Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Corey, better known as the Seaman, and I want to welcome you to another edition of the Seaman's Cinema. Sit down. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. The 3 a.m. thing is getting tough. I'm a night person, so when I do these 3 a.m. wake-ups, I'm in that 5 to 3 hour range, which ain't great, especially when I'm closer to probably that 3 hour range more often than not. But when you gotta do it twice in 1 week, you only had 1 week off of doing it, man, that is tough. And I know I'm not supposed to cross streams because we're talking Marvel content, but yesterday Zack Snyder's Justice League came out. Naturally, I was covering that like crazy. Then I went to work, then I came home, ate some dinner, and watched it again, which did not help my sleep schedule whatsoever. But God, that movie is so freaking good. And if you want to see my non-spoiler thoughts, you can check them out right there. But now, we are going to dive into some Marvel, baby, because they're back with their second TV show, which was supposed to be their first TV show, and I gotta say, man, they are off to a flying start, if you know what I mean. So why don't you pull up a chair, take a seat, we are getting ready to dive in, spoiler-free, into the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And like I said, man, I really dug this first episode. It starts with a bang. This is a non-spoiler, but we're going to get action in these things, and we're going to get Sam action in these things, man, doing Falcon things, and this bad boy opens up with the best Falcon anything we have seen anywhere, man. The action, holy cow, is wild, and a real good chunk of it is CGI, and I promise you, it don't look like CGI, man. There are some people flying up in the sky, not in airplanes or helicopters, even though there are helicopters and planes in the scene. But they're just people whipping around, man. And I thought that it was for a minute, I was I think they got these, they got some crazy, those high octane stunt type people who love to just do the squirrel suits. I was I think they. And then you see some stuff, and you're nah, that's CGI. But it is so freaking good. And it was thrilling. It was exhilarating. I was on the edge of my seat 20 seconds into this show, man. And I was yes, give me this. Because it's one of those, having a character that has, mechanical wings and a jetpack and can fly around. And we've seen Sam do some really cool things, in the movies. But, oh man, dude, when you open that up to, all the possibilities that you can do with those wings and with the flying stunts that you're putting in there, oh man, it was dope. And Anthony Mackie, that guy bangs, man. He is just... Specifically in this role, he is so freaking good, and they give him some good stuff, man. After you get through that crazy action scene, shocker, Marvel's telling a pretty good story, and I love that we dive into both of these characters a little bit. We get to go kind of deeper into Sam's life. We see a little bit of what's going on with him mentally, around being given the shield. I mean, right from the get-go, man, when Cap gave him the shield in Endgame, he was feels like it belongs to somebody else. And when we saw those trailers, I did not watch the most recent trailer that dropped 3 or 4 days ago, because I was we're so close to the show. Probably should have watched it, but, thus is. But even in those early ones, he is struggling with that concept. And I like the show tackling that, but I also like the show diving in, to some of his backstory. And we don't go backwards. I wouldn't be shocked if we do get, an episode or something that does go back. I know Sam's backstory is going to be something that's important to the show, but we don't really do any flashback stuff here. Instead, we go on a little ride with Sam and get to interact with him and some of the people that he interacts with, and you do start to get a good feeling of where he comes from. And I thought that was really, really dope, especially when, granted, both guys are up on the title, but this is, Sam is, I think, the lead of the two. If you were going to ask me, at least that's the story that I certainly am most intrigued by, and I love that we are now giving that character more depth. We saw it with WandaVision, just totally improving the characters of Wanda and Vision, just giving them so much depth by giving them their own story, not being tied to these team-up movies. And, Sam's story, in particular, has been so tied to Captain America. It was cool to see stuff that was outside that. And same goes with Bucky. Like, they do some cool stuff with how they're getting into Bucky, because, Bucky's brain is messed up from being the Winter Soldier, man. I mean, he was brainwashed, turned into a super soldier, worked for Hydra all those years, and, like, we always see him. He kind of has a line where he kind of references the fact that, like, I had, like, a chill period in Wakanda, but outside of that, it's just been battle after battle after battle after battle after battle for, like, 90-something years. And we haven't ever really had time to chill and get into, Bucky's head. And some of the filming techniques, like, around Bucky are really, like, a lot of close-in, tight shots, man, because we're getting a little bit up in here. And I like getting to see things that he is struggling with, things that he is working through, how he's working through those things, and the people that he interacts with in the episode. There are 3 in particular, and each one has a kind of a different vibe, and all of it just is constantly playing with what's going on in his psyche. And it's one of those things that's really, really interesting, because, we figured, like, last time we saw these guys, they were saving the world. That they're going to work together in the show. I was thinking maybe they're already working together, and mild spoiler, they're not. This whole episode, they are separate from each other. But I like that, because you can kind of dive in and establish more of a foundation for both characters. And the other thing that I really dig here is that, at least through episode 1, it certainly looks like we are going to deal directly with the blip, right? Like, if you think about both shows that have come out, all the characters outside of Vision, but he was, like, legitimately killed, are characters that were blipped away. Wanda, Winter Soldier, and Falcon. They all got snapped away, and they all came back. And you're seeing that from these 2 standpoints, and how the blip personally is affecting them. But while we're getting that story, we're seeing how the blip affected people that are around them. And people in general. Some of Sam's storyline kind of gives you a little bit of a broader sense of what is going on in the world post-blip. And the fact that, like, the world, you'd think, like, everybody coming back that was blipped away would be a good thing. But for the world, it's a tougher thing than you think, because 5 years is a pretty long time in the real world. And what's cool is that is being tied into our villain group, and the fact that there is a group of people that preferred the way the world was right after the blip, and are not super big fans of everybody coming back from that blip. And knowing that this was supposed to be the first show, right? Like this, and it takes place only a couple months. I mean, I guess Wanda does too, but, like, knowing that this was supposed to be the first show, you can see that, like, this is supposed to be the first show, because they're directly touching that stuff. Like, you could have probably gotten into the blip in WandaVision if that was the first planned show, but instead, you're really just diving into her personal psyche. And I like the fact that these shows are doing that, right? Like we just said, like, we're diving into both of these guys' heads a little bit. But I dig that this show is directly addressing things that go on with the blip, and it's addressing that shield. And we don't get a ton of it in this first episode, but we definitely get more of what's going on with that shield than I was expecting for the first episode. And one up in, I'm here for this. Like I said, the action that we open with is probably the biggest, not probably, is the biggest piece of action. And then even just the small bits of action that we get sprinkled in throughout the episode. Enough to allow that storytelling to kind of take over after that opening scene, but keep us engaged with different things that are action oriented, and starting to establish, like, Baron Zemo isn't in this episode, but we are starting to dip our toe into the potential villain group, or one of the villain groups that we'll be going into. They're called the Flag Smashers, and that whole bit of the storyline I really dug, and how that directly tied into what was going on with Sam. And like I said, man, I dig what we're doing, and these are just two guys that I adore. Sebastian Stan and Anthony Mackie are just really, really good actors, and specifically really, really good actors in these two particular roles. And I'm really psyched to see where we go with that, and where these characters and these actors take these characters and their stories. But I'm here, man, and I thought these were going to be about an hour long. They're a little shorter. I think this one was like 49, maybe 50 minutes. But like, flew by. Like, all of a sudden it was the end of the episode. I was like, damn, like, that went so fast, because it's really good. So there you go, man. Those are all my non-spoiler thoughts on episode 1 of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Shocking. Once again, I am totally here for some Marvel content, and I'm digging what they're doing. So I'm definitely looking forward to waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning every Friday to chit-chat with you guys, because I think this show is going to be pretty freaking cool. So those are all my thoughts. Now I know what you're thinking. Have you had a chance to watch the episode? If you had, please, no spoilers. But let me know what you're thinking, man. Like, that opening scene popped for you the way it popped for me. What were you are you digging where we're going storyline-wise, and what they're kind of working through with both Sam and Bucky's characters, and what's going on in the greater overall? If you haven't watched the episode, and you're, one of those folks that, I got to chit-chat or start interacting with during WandaVision, that I love that you guys love the non-spoiler review, man. It's because it's one I can get out a little bit quicker, because I like to talk. So I like getting out these non-spoilers for you guys. I'm glad that, that they help you get to when you eventually watch the episode. So if you haven't seen it, what are you thinking, man? What did you take away from what I said? Are you excited based off of what I said? Were you excited before, even watching me? Just in general, what are you looking forward to in this show? Anything you're thinking about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, down below in the comments section. Look forward to talking to you guys down there. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're new, you want to come hang out with the old C-Man anytime we're talking the Falcon and Winter Soldier, comic book movie content, just movie or TV or trailer content in general, you dig the energy, you dig what the old C-Man's doing, you want to show a little love support, real easy to do, man. Jump over there, join that C-Maniac Nation by hitting that subscribe button. Hit that little bell if you want those alerts. And until next time, which will be our spoiler discussion on episode 1, I have been the C-Man, and I am signing off. Peace!
Oh, hey, what's going on? You must be sticking around because you're looking for more content featuring this guy. Well, guess what? You're in the right place. You can check out more videos right here and right here. And if you have and you want to come join that C-Maniac Nation, you can hit that subscribe right over there.